up, gamers, and welcome back to another episode of the Koop'd podcast, the podcast that cleaned its desk today, and you should all be very, very proud of me. My name is Koopa. I am your host, and each week I am joined by a friend or two, and sometimes they're cats. And we just kind of chit-chat about things happening in pop culture and things that we're liking and watching, and I am joined by one of my favorite recurring guests. We have not talked in a while, but I also haven't made podcast content consistently in a while anyway, so that's my own fault. Joining us once again from undisclosed location in Florida land. Undisclosed location. You are safe.
The swamp.
It's not Shrek. It's Sleepy Kokiri. Hi, Kokiri.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to sit down and talk to you this week. And Laika is also joining us.
Of course. She has much to say.
She has many thoughts in that tiny little head of hers.
So small.
I know, she's so cute. But yeah, it's been a while since we had you on the show, and I figured, you're deep in the spooky movie, train right now. You're a great podcast guest to have in general, so I figured it'd be good to sit down and chit chat with you. So I'll start by asking first and foremost. You just went through a hurricane. How are you guys doing down there?
We're fine. Our fence got knocked down, and our power got knocked out. Otherwise, it was completely fine.
That's great.
We're lucky that we're not on the water, because that's where everyone got fucked.
Yeah.
But we're okay. Our bedroom's no longer flooded, so that's nice.
Oh gosh. That's horrifying.
Literally, since we've moved in July, our bedroom's been low-key flooded.
That's
weird. When we step on the floorboards, water would squelch up, and I'm like, yes, I love free water. This is a great inclusion for the house.
Yes.
But
this
it's
was not
finally
included
not doing
in the rent
that anymore. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that for you. We love not having sitting water in our home.
Yeah. It was really great. Things got very damp. It was not a good time, but things are less damp now.
Yes, I love that. And Laika seems to enjoy it as well.
I'm trying to prevent her from climbing on the desk and knocking over the camera.
It's literally, I feel like that's half the battle of owning a cat, is just making sure they don't knock your stuff over.
Yeah, pretty much.
But well, I'm glad you guys are okay. As someone that lives in a flood zone in my little old state, I know that sort of stuff is horrifying. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's not fun. I think it was it would have been about 10 or 12 years ago. Hurricane Irene just oh my gosh, yeah, it was bad.
God.
Yeah, so where I live in my hometown in New Jersey, I lived right across the street from a river. Mm-hmm. So whenever it would rain, we get hurricane season. My yard would flood, but I was up on a hill, so it would never reach the house. Except during Hurricane Irene, we had 6 feet of water in the first floor of my house. Yeah, it was horrifying. I got displaced from my house for 6 months.
That's
Don't
horrible.
recommend it. Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
But hey,
I'm really glad we didn't have any flooding. It was we had flash flood warnings. Honestly, the tornado's way more scary than the hurricane.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Literally, Risu was like, hey, I live in Kansas, and those hurricanes are bad. Get in your bathroom. And I was like, okay, well, I specifically didn't move to Oklahoma because I didn't want to deal with hurricanes, or I didn't want to deal with tornadoes. I went here because I was like, hurricanes, less bad. And then it's both, same day. And I was like, that is the worst possible thing that could happen. But okay, cool. But now we're chilling. So it's fine.
Listen, I've seen The Wizard of Oz. I've seen what a twister can do to something.
I was like, there's going to be cows in the sky. I was like, I'm not ready for a tornado.
Suddenly I'm going to have to start singing to save my life. So.
The worst part is that it's going to be a musical. It's hurricanes are bad. Tornadoes are musicals. Horrible. I
need a version of Twister that is a musical now. I need to see it for my health.
Love that.
I would watch that, absolutely. But I'm glad you guys are okay. That's a number one. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a while. So what have you? I'll pinpoint the exact date exactly, because it has been quite some time. It's been well over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been new with you guys? How are things in your neck of the woods?
We moved. That's nice. The house is old, flooded, bad. Other than that, chilling, playing Minecraft, watching horror movies. That's most of what I've been doing. The Minecraft is much scarier than the horror movies. Like, I feel like I'm gonna cry half the time when I'm playing Minecraft, whereas when I'm watching a horror movie, I'm making fun of it the entire time.
That sounds about right. But you also got a new kitty.
Yeah, we got Fern. She's not around. But yeah, she's the best. She's obsessed with Laika. Laika thinks she's all right. They have a very sisterly, like little sister, big sister dynamic where Fern is like obsessed with Laika and is constantly like poking and prodding her and like trying to get her attention, and Laika's just like, please leave me the fuck alone. Please go on your Game Boy. Please just don't fucking talk to me. But they play sometimes, and they're very sweet and cute. And Laika is gotten way more playful since we adopted her, because we got her because she was constantly meowing because she wanted to play, and we were like, and she wasn't really interested in playing with us, and we're just like, well, maybe cat. Do you want to play with a cat? And she was like, I hate this fucking thing. And now she's playing with a cat, so it worked. She really brought out her kitten spirit. Because Laika's 13 and Fern is 1. But
oh wow,
yeah, Laika only punches her in the head sometimes now.
As a big sister should.
Yes.
You know, as
Fern
someone that is the
deserves
youngest.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure. As someone that's the youngest of 3, I've been hit in the head by my older siblings.
Yeah, I'm also the youngest, so I'm just like, should have got hit more, honestly. Like, someone needed to punch me in the head slightly more. Yeah,
it's all funny. You know, sometimes I deserve it. Sometimes as an adult, I feel like I deserve it. It's just like a little boop on the head just to kind of teach me a lesson.
I don't condone violence, but getting hit in the head a little bit sometimes can do a little something for someone's character.
A little boop, but yeah. I love that. I've seen all the photos online, and as someone that knows you, you going through the process of, finding a cat to bring into your home. It's beautiful. I love watching
cats.
I love cats too. I didn't become a cat person.
Halloween T-shirt from the adoption service. They have like they collaborate with like local tattoo artists to make like designs for different events, and this one's their Halloween design.
Florida is so cool sometimes.
Yeah, that's dope as hell. I call it the Fern Factory, but it's called Liberation Cat House. But I go up there and I'm like, it's the Fern Factory, and then I buy stuff from them pretty much every time.
I love that.
Like,
I need more places with merch. I love that. That's a great name for a cat too. I love that you kept her name.
That was her name at the rescue too, and I was like, that's a perfect name. I don't want to change it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I call her Furbus a lot because she's nervous. She's Furbus nervous.
That is the best part about owning a pet, is that when you just get to like derail their identity with like all the nicknames.
Went downhill fast. Like, I was already calling her Furby within like 2 days. She was barely like being able to look us in the eye, and I was like, Furbus, little Burby Derby, Koopa Chalupa. And she was just like, I don't know you.
Who's a strange woman saying these words to me?
I have familiarized myself with what I would like to call you, even if we don't know each other.
Yeah. We're friends, but I don't know if you've gotten to that point yet.
It's like, you don't know it yet, but we're friends.
I love that. I'm very excited for you. I've a newly founded cat person. I didn't become a cat person until I started dating a cat person, and now I want a cat. But my roommate's allergic.
To get a cat.
Ugh, I want one so bad.
They're different than dogs. You can just find one for free.
There's one probably out in the street right now.
There's also just like one breed of cat, and it's cat in different colors. You can go to a shelter and you can be like, I need a cat. And they're just like, this one's been here for 4 years. Just take it. So like, it's really just go and get one. It's the best.
Yeah, I'm still working on my PowerPoint presentation of how to convince my allergic to cat roommate that I want to get a cat. So,
oh no.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I feel like a cat would fix many of my adult problems that probably can't be fixed by a pet, but I will pretend that they can be fixed by a pet.
I mean, she does fix a lot of my problems. Like, anytime I'm feeling bad, I'm just like, oh, what's this? That I just poke her? I feel much better.
But does she have a job yet?
She could have a job. Oh my god, actually, you can't see it on this, but I have like my stream setup done, and I have like a cat webcam specifically set up. So
yeah.
She's gonna be working. She's gonna be the big camera. I'm gonna be the little one. It's gonna be like we're reacting to like fucking Subway Surfers. Like, I'll be the bottom. I'll be the bottom one, and like she'll be the Leica cam, like the Subway Surfers or like the Minecraft parkour.
And then there's like the third screen that's like Family Guy funny moments.
Yes. Like... Live react to my cat. And she's just asleep.
Oh my gosh. More streams need to have like pet cams.
Mm-hmm. I just like happened to have an extra camera because Eric gave me his old one. And I'm just like, I know exactly what this will be used for. There's only one use.
Yeah, it's strictly for the views. One of my friends has a cat, and she has a whole camera station set up for it. She just like lays her in a little box, laying all cute. I'm just like, this is just free content. I love cats.
I could just watch that all day. 24-hour live stream of a cat just doing cat things.
Instead of you watching 120 plus horror movies, you could have just watched 120 plus 20 cats.
True. But one is delightful, and one is delightful but different, with dead people in it.
Yeah, I guess
one of them contains a murderer, and one of them is a horror movie. Because Leica be killing lizards. She's crazy. Gosh. She killed a snake like 2 days ago. To be fair, it was like this big, but I found just a dead snake in my living room, and I'm just like, yeah, that was Leica for sure.
She is so Florida woman coded.
She was born to be in the swamps.
Have you ever done the What's Your Florida Man game before?
No.
Oh, so this is fun. So if you Google Florida Man and your birthday, whatever the first news headline that comes up is what your Florida man is.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'll let me do mine real quick. This is
I'll do mine at the same time. I'm guessing it's going to be something violent, and I'm going to feel bad saying it out loud.
Oh, yeah, this is the one it's been for, like, years. Mine is Florida man wearing blue bonnet and flowery dress allegedly steals 28 cans of baby formula from Publix.
I support him. I seen absolutely nothing wrong with what you've just said. That is the ideal person. That's what I want to be. Florida man haunts beaches dressed as Grim Reaper. They should date. Your Florida man and my Florida man are meant to be together, actually.
I think so. I think they hang out on the weekends, and they're secretly in love with each other.
The Grim Reaper and the man in a dress robbing a bank and going to the beach together.
I just now think of that scene from like the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, like Halloween special, or like Grim and like the female guy were like dancing in the cemetery.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly that.
God, I miss the era of great Halloween specials. We've lost that as we've gone to streaming. That's what they've taken away from us.
Speaking of, I really have to watch the Shrek Halloween movie.
Oh, I've watched it once.
Scared Shrekless or something.
Yeah, I watched it once because I think that was on like an NBC like type thing where like they showed it as like a cable like special.
Yeah.
And I think I watched it once, and I could not tell you what happens in it, but there was Shrek.
That's in my Shrek. I have a little like separate basically watch list of like if Eric can't handle another horror movie for another night in a row, we have something that's like vaguely Halloween or horror related, like Coraline, Beetlejuice, Rocky Horror, stuff like that, and then Scared Shrekless is on that list.
Has he ever seen Rocky Horror before?
He hasn't.
Oh, I love Rocky Horror.
It's great. I've seen it live twice too. I love Rocky Horror.
I want to see a live Rocky Horror so bad. Like I'm a former theater kid.
It's very interactive.
Yeah, like as a former theater kid, like it feels like a black mark on my resume because I haven't like witnessed a live Rocky Horror before. But
you gotta learn all the like call and responses and everything before you go. Like to the opening song, there's like an in between line to almost every line. It's really good.
We love to see it. Yeah. Shout out to Beetlejuice. I actually just watched that again for recently because I
haven't seen it in forever. I need to rewatch it.
Oh, I own it on VHS.
Oh, did you go see the new one? Is that why you rewatched it?
I was gonna go see it this weekend because I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. But I watched the first one. I love Michael Keaton. He's one of my faves. So, and I know my dad wanted to go see the new one, so I watched it and the old one, and it's still great. It's
I need
a
to
phenomenal
rewatch
watch.
it. I also need to go see the new one. I haven't seen it yet.
I have vivid memories growing up of like the Beetlejuice cartoon showing in reruns.
Yes.
When I was like growing up, oh my god, that show I think that show scared me as a child. But everything scared me as a kid, so it's like it's not really a surprise.
Yeah, I used to be afraid of everything. I saw the cover of the Gremlins VHS and it haunted me until I was like 13. I was terrified. I thought in my tiny child brain, I saw the cover of Gremlins and I thought it's like a gremlin in a box smoking a cigar, I thought it was a gremlin in a casket with like bloody fingers. That's what like my brain interpreted the image as, and I was just like, that's the scariest image I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I watched Gremlins, and I was like, this movie is a comedy, and I'm a little bitch. Like, it's not scary at all. And that started my like cascade into liking horror. Is I was like, the Gremlins is the scariest movie ever, and then I watched it, and I'm like, this is a comedy fucking Christmas movie. I was so wrong.
Don't feed them after midnight, or then
For
bad
real.
things will happen. So, just like me, honestly. So.
Honestly, same. I'll get a tummy ache and get so mean.
Well, I won't turn into a monster, but I'll get very scary.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I remember like I didn't watch. I was also afraid of the Gremlins growing up because I
Right?
watched it on. Yeah, like I think I watched it on cable, and it like freaked the shit out of me.
They're
So
freaky.
I was like, yeah. Yeah, and then I remember there was a Powerpuff Girls episode that parodied the Gremlins.
No.
Yeah, it's like the same concept. There's like these like, but like it was like a cutesy version of it where it's like,
okay. I was gonna say they
there
should
these-
put those in there.
yeah, it was like there's like these monsters in the show, but like you can't feed them more than once, or then they start multiplying, and then they just like
Okay.
invade. They just like take over the city of Townsville.
Mhm.
It was very funny.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, they were called the episode was called Pet Feuds. These things that are like shout out to there's a wiki for everything now.
I love that.
Yeah, they were like what were they called? They're called Bebos. They're like these like
That's
pink puff
hilarious.
things with, like bare feet. They were disgusting looking, but they were so cute. It was very
now
funny.
that I'm older, I'm like Gremlins are cute, especially like the Mogwai, like Gizmo. He's cute. Like those are
Yeah.
adorable. My childhood
And now
cat was named Gremlin, and I was like, I don't want to address that, so we would just call her Grim. And I was like, you're named after the scariest thing I've ever seen.
And now you can play as them in a fighting game. So
I know.
oh how we've changed.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So do we share the like progression of scared of everything as a kid to liking horror now?
Yes, that was actually going to be my next point. I was terrified of horror movies growing up. Like I hated being afraid more than everything. I was like afraid of being afraid. So
Yeah.
It was like so strange. Like but my family always loved horror movies. Like we own. I think one of my first memories, like being terrified of something, was like I watched Jurassic Park as a kid with like my dad and my brother, and like I was just like, oh, cool, dinosaurs are cool because that's how that part of my brain functioned as at the time. I was a dinosaurs and robots kid, so like, but then I saw Jurassic Park and it terrified me, and I was like, I never want to experience that ever again. And like,
the mistakes of man are pretty scary.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. But like, I remember like that like terrified me, and then I remember like I watched a trailer for Eight-Legged Freaks as a like I forget what I was watching.
That is.
That is oh my god, it's like a horror movie from the 80s, I believe. Let me actually Google this, but I lied, it's from 2002.
That's more recent than a movie I would expect to be called that was made.
Yeah, it was exactly so. For whatever reason, I thought this came out much sooner, but my brain works in funny ways. I think we owned
it came
this
out when we were kids, which is like the 80s.
Yeah, so like. I think the concept is that there's these giant spiders that like these people are like in like it was a monster like horror movie, but it's also a comedy, so it's one of those things that's like I couldn't watch it growing up because it terrified me. There was like these giant spiders that like take over a mall or something
I
like
love
that.
that.
It was horrifying.
Spider checking you out at Aeropostale.
Yes, exactly. A spider wearing jeans and sandals in December because it's forced to by company law.
Getting my New York fries from a spider.
What is the scariest store in the mall?
Scariest store in the mall? Is Hollister still really loud and smelly?
Yes.
That one. Honestly, I just don't like malls, so like all of them. Also Lush, like they're very nice. They do really talk to you, which is not my favorite. I do only order online from Lush because I don't have the capacity for that. But
yeah. It's a lot. That's a good answer. Hollister is very dark and very scary, and they.
If I wanted to go to the club, I'd go to the club.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to go to the club to buy jeans.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But yeah, so I was definitely of that ilk of child where like I was horrified of horror movies growing up, and I forget what changed in me. I think it was when I think it was I went on one of those like 4D like experience rides at a theme park where like it was Jurassic Park themed, and I went with like my family and one of my my cousins. He was like making fun of me because I was like freaking out the whole time. I'm like, I hate dinosaurs. I'm gonna be scared. I kept asking my mom. I was like, Mom, is this gonna scare me? And she's like, Will you stop? Like, I need you to relax. We're on vacation. Like, stop. Like, just like it was so funny. And I remember like the whole time I'm like freaking out about the whole thing. And then we sat down to do the actual ride. And I had a great time, and then my cousin started crying because he got scared.
Oh my
god! So
Get fucked.
yeah, I was like, "L brother, to hold that." So, and I think at that point I was like, "Oh no, wait, these things actually aren't scary anymore."
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what your first like, what your awakening to that was?
I'd say aside from Gremlins, I really loved The Ring. Like that was like it scared the crap out of me, but also like I loved it, and I was like, this is the only horror movie I like, even though it's scary. And then when I started watching horror movies again, when I was like literally within the past like 4 years, is like when I like really like delved into it because I was like, no one wants to watch horror movies all the time, and I'm like, those are the only ones I actually want to watch, and I find every other movie kind of boring. So like basically it was Gremlins, and then I revisited it by like rewatching older movies because I'm like, oh, Eric has never seen them. And then I was like, oh, I don't find any of these movies scary. I want to see what is scary. And I was like, nothing is scary, but I am thoroughly enjoying myself. And then I was like, oh, I'm just going to watch these all the time. Because it used to be like a big thing where I'd be like, oh, I have to like plan a night to get scared. And like, I'm going to be stressed out the entire time. And I watch them and I'm just like, this is just like a movie. To me, I'm just hanging out, having a good time. And I'm like, okay, well, this is just going to be the only type of movie I watch mostly now.
No, I relate to that. There was a while ago, I think it was like around the time of the pandemic, like right before the pandemic, but my friends and I would start getting together and just watching movies on our times off. Because like, we're like, as I've met most of my friend group going to Super Smash Brothers tournaments, like, we spent a lot of our weekends and nights, playing Super Smash Brothers, which is like great and fun and all, but then it gets to the point where it's like, man, like we have other things we like to do.
We gotta do something else.
Like, can we do anything else right now?
Yeah.
And then that delved into tabletop stuff, and then that also delved into, oh, hey, you guys just want to hang out and like, watch some movies. And eventually we had like, we took that very seriously. Like we had spreadsheets, like we were documenting the things we were watching.
Nice.
Everybody got to pick a movie, every weekend.
I love
and then that. Yeah, and then that expanded upon itself in the pandemic because, spoiler alert, we couldn't go outside.
Crazy.
Yeah, this novel,
never before heard experience.
Yeah, insane. But we will, sit down and pick different movies to watch. And a lot of those movies ended up just being horror movies because a lot of us just liked horror movies. I remember that's how I saw John Carpenter's The Thing for the first time, like 3 or 4 years ago. And like, that's where I was just like, oh yeah, like this is my jam. Like, like that golden age of like, the 80s and 90s, like horror flicks. I love sci-fi horror. Like that's my personal like favorite branch of horror movies.
We're very different.
So let's talk about it. You've been deep in the cut. So like when you're watching a horror movie, like what's your specific lane of horror that you like to dive into?
It's interesting that you said that like 80s, 90s, like sci-fi is your thing, because like mine is early 2000s to like modern paranormal. Like okay. I haven't, even though I've seen like the current, like I definitely am forgetting some, but my current list on Letterboxd is 125. I haven't seen like any of the classics. I haven't seen The Thing. I haven't seen like Halloween. Haven't seen Friday the 13th because like they just haven't gotten on my radar because I'm just like movie old. Don't want to watch it because I'm like, well, they're not going to be scary because they're old, which I'm probably wrong. And like I do want to watch them, but like I am a very big fan of like the kind of shitty early 2000s. Like, I recently watched Dead Silence, and that movie is ass, and I fucking loved it. That movie ruled. I love movies that are just, like, very, like, off the wall, And I also love a haunted house. I love a demon. Found footage. Love found footage. I know that's very divisive. Love it. My favorite. I love found footage. I love when a bitch is like, I went to this place and it sucked, and then I died. That's my favorite genre of movie. It's like, get a load of this place, and then that's the movie. My favorite.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, it's because like that's very interesting to me because like that's where I sort of like delved into like my horror stuff when I started getting like way more into it. I mentioned how I was terrified of Jurassic Park when I first watched it. And like Jurassic Park isn't like marketed as like a horror movie, but like it is scary. Like know, it's like it's
at the very least like a thriller in a way.
Yeah, that's like a fun line to walk where like where people are you're like, oh, is this actually scary, or is this it's an action movie, like it's with scary dinosaurs, like like you said, like the creation of man is a horrifying thing to come to terms with.
Yeah, exactly.
So like in terms of just like movies that I watch that like will scare me sometimes, like obviously Jurassic Park doesn't scare me as much anymore, but that's one of my favorite movies ever.
It's great. Same with
like,
The Mummy. It's just like we shouldn't have been in there.
No,
they shouldn't have been in there.
But I'll be damned. I'm so glad Brendan Fraser was in there. My God.
Good movie. They should have got out of there.
I fucking love that movie.
It's a really good movie. But it's similar to Jurassic Park in that like it's not quite a horror movie. It's kind of just like a, dude, you shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You gotta leave.
Yeah. But
Do you have horror movies that like actually scare you?
Oh yeah, I was terrified of actually. It's funny you mentioned it. Found footage movies used to scare the shit out of me. Like I like things like Paranormal Activity or like
love Paranormal Activity.
like Blair Witch, like stuff like that. Yeah. Like those movies. Oh my gosh! Like I am such. I forget. There was like another one I watched. There was one where it's just like it takes place all throughout like this like a video call like group chat or something like that.
Host or Unfriended?
I think it was Unfriended.
Yeah. We watched that one last week.
Yeah. And I'm just like, in concept, it's so silly, but like, I think at the time I was just like, oh God, like, this is really, really scary.
If you like that one, you should watch Host, because Host is the better version of Unfriended.
I've also been told that. So I have
good. It's shockingly good for the premise. It seems like it's going to be really cheesy, and it's actually like really well done, and it's only like 90 minutes. It's real short.
Oh, okay. Love that. Right in the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But I'll say like, I think when I get more like, I don't think a whole lot like scares me anymore. I think I get more enjoyment out of a horror movie by like how nervous it makes me. Like if it makes me feel like uncomfortable, like a little like a little unnerved. Like I recently just saw Longlegs.
I liked Longlegs a lot.
It was really good, and like the first time I watched
Perkins.
it, oh, so good.
He's really
good. I watch anything that Nicolas Cage is in. That's my goat. So God bless America. But like I remember I like watched it once, and I'm just like, everyone I was talking to was just like, oh yeah, this is like going to be like the greatest horror movie of all time. I'm just like, okay, like I'll give it a watch, and like I felt very like I didn't feel like overwhelmed or underwhelmed when I watched it. I just felt very like, okay, that was a good movie.
It was very hyped.
It was, and then I had to watch it again, and I'm just like, oh no, wait, I get it, because like I can kind of like sit a little bit more with like how uncomfortable it made me. Like it was a very it was a very creepy and like unnerving movie, and I'm just like, that's where I get like my most like where I get my licks out of these movies now. It's like how like creepy, how like weird can you make me feel when I'm watching this?
I want to feel like I'm gonna throw up, but like not from gross, but from like stress.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm about to go into an exam.
Yeah. I want to feel like I'm late for work and I'm gonna get fired if I show up late. Like
exactly. Like I find it a lot more effective if something makes me like hold my breath than just like jump scares. Like I want to be like really on edge the entire time. And basically just like have the ending be like and then the rest I'm just stressed out. Because the jump scares I like have the physical response of like jolting, and then I'm just like mentally I don't feel it. Like physically I'm just like eek, and then I move on. Like I want to like what I'm searching for. I've yet to find a movie that like really scares me, but what I'm searching for is I want to go to sleep feeling unsafe.
Yes.
Like I want to go to bed being like my feet need to be tucked into the blanket and I need to have the lights on in the bathroom kind of situation. Like if I go to bed feeling uneasy and like something bad might have to be in tonight, then that's how I know I succeeded in finding a scary movie. And I haven't had one since I was a kid. So I'm very much searching. I'm thinking The Exorcist might do it because I haven't seen that. And I feel like it might be a good one.
Ooh, that's a classic. That's a real good one. Like
I
that movie
literally
still
have been
makes me
putting
feel
off
weird.
seeing it because I think the little girl looks scary. So I really want it to just mess me up for a couple days. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that would be ideal.
I remember when I was in college, and I forget which Paranormal Activity had come out, but like I went to go see one of them, and this is where I was like very wary about going to see horror movies, like, but I didn't want to look like a weenie in front of my new friends in college.
Yeah.
So we went to like a midnight showing. Like we purposely made it as scary as possible, and then I was shitting myself the whole time. Like I was terrified.
They're tense.
They're tense. They're fucking weird. Like
my favorite is the third one where the camera pans and you have to like wait for it to pan back. The entire time I'm just like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, it like freaks me out. And then like on driving home, like there was like a deer like running in the middle of the street, like
bad omen.
Like not, yeah, I was just like, oh god, like here we go.
That's the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah, this is how it starts. Like we're doomed.
Yep.
But what was another? I think another one that like unnerved me that I've seen like semi recently was Barbarian.
Oh my god, I'm watching that tonight.
Oh,
that's my tonight movie.
That's crazy. I won't say anything, but it was definitely scenes in that movie where I'm just like, ugh, like that I'm definitely got me.
I'm very excited. I literally posted being like, give me your scariest movie, and that one was suggested I think once or twice. So I'm hoping it's a good one.
So like in your journey of watching these movies, like what have been some of like your highlights? Like what are some ones that you've like seen for the first time? You're just like, oh yeah, like I get it. Like what, like what are some highlights
without
for you?
Spoilers?
Yeah.
Well, or am I spoiling?
Well, I mean, it's a horror movie. Like I don't care. We'll give you guys a spoiler warning. So.
The most definitive horror moment is actually from a show, and it's The Haunting of Hill House.
It's so good.
I lost my fucking mind. I'm not going to really spoil it, but the moment where you find out who the, like, hanging lady is, I lost my fucking mind. I was, like, standing up, walking around, being like, no way! Like, I was losing it. It was so good. It, like, felt so, like, satisfying. And, like, I didn't see that coming at all, which I loved. And like I really like when a horror movie like builds up a like monster and it ends up not just being like a monster, it ends up being like some manifestation of a different thing. I love a metaphor. I love like the Babadook. I love when it's like it's tackled in a way that isn't just like we've defeated the monster. So I loved that very much. It really felt like everything we learned about the family up until that point was very satisfying. My favorite horror anything is like I really look for like a good spook, but like not one that I'm necessarily like this is personally scary, but something where I'm just like, oh, that was like gross. And again, not gross as in like violent, because I don't really care about violence that much more. Like in horror movies, it doesn't really bother me, but I want to be like, ooh, that feels yucky that happened kind of vibe. Like again, like every moment that the fucking camera pans. In Paranormal Activity 3, love that. And the movie that most recently, I would say, got the closest to scaring me, and I don't know if it really counts because it just made me feel really sad and made me cry, is Lake Mungo. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It's so incredibly good. It's like a documentary about a family that, like, their daughter drowned, kind of similar to, like, Twin Peaks. Literally, like, it's very inspired by Twin Peaks. Literally, their last name is Palmer. But it, like, basically like follows all of her actions and how the family copes up to her death and the weird circumstances of it. But like it filled me with such existential dread because I was like, mostly in horror movies, I'm like, I'm not scared of this because this isn't going to happen to me. It's like, I wouldn't watch that tape. That little girl I wouldn't pick up that phone. Like, I'm like, there's no situation. Like in The Descent, I'm like, I ain't going that fucking hole. There's usually like, it's like, I'm not going fucking, like, there's usually situations where I'm like, well, that wouldn't happen to me. Whereas in, like, Mungo, I'm just like, this could happen to anybody, and it is the scariest situation I can think of. It felt horrible. The acting was so good, it genuinely felt like a documentary. Like, it was so sincere. Like, the family's reaction to losing their daughter was so, like, heartfelt that, like, after I felt so bad for everyone that I cried, which is not the reaction I'm looking for, but closer than having, like, that was fun, to being scary. I really, you gotta watch it. It's very good.
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
on my list.
There isn't a lot of, like, jump scare or anything like that.
Yeah, that's on my list of things to watch, because I saw your Twitter thread last night. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's on my list of things to get to. Also, shout outs to Haunting of Hill House. That show
so good.
is so good. And Bly Manor is also very good.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't watched Midnight Mass or Fall of House of Usher yet. But I've watched Bly Manor, I've watched Hill House. And they were both good. Hill House is like League of its own. Have you seen Oculus?
Oh, yeah. No, it's not been on my list of things to watch. So.
By the same guy, Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mike Flanagan. So.
Very good.
And also shout outs to my goat, Love Quinn, Victoria Pendretti. God bless her.
I love her.
She is a scream queen.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
also like You, don't you?
Oh yeah. For all that mess of what that show is.
I love that horrible show. It's so terrible yet so good.
In talking about like situations I will never put myself in, it's like it's just like these poor people can't get out of their way. They're so stupid.
Yeah. Joe's apartment in the most recent season, really nice. So like,
that's true.
It's a pretty nice apartment.
It's God, what a
that dark
what a
academia vibe. I understand.
God bless. But yeah, like you, I see you're I love that you're like, you know, more versed in the newer stuff as well. You know, I feel like people have this debate a lot. It's like they say that like the newer horror movies have kind of lost it a bit.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there is some good stuff out there to watch. But like in terms of like what I've watched recently, like what I like to get myself in the mood with in Halloween. So I just recently saw the new Alien movie. I'm a big fan. Like I said, I'm a big fan of space. I'm a big fan of like, you know, sci-fi horror. The original Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time. Happy belated birthday, Sigourney Weaver. You are a queen. God bless you. Please come on my show. You don't know who I am. God. Please come on my podcast. But yeah, like that's one of my like. I love like the. I just kind of love like how off the chain you can get with these things, and like. You know, the Alien franchise has been like very hit or miss in like the last few films that they've made. But this new one was really fun. My biggest complaint is that my theater was too cold and I spilled my drink on myself. You know,
they were simulating what it's like to be in space.
Yeah, cold and alone and covered in Coke Zero. So
in space, nobody can give you a warm blankie.
In space, nobody can hear you when you drop your nerds rope on the ground and you can't eat it anymore.
Oh no, not the nerds rope.
Yeah, pretty awful stuff.
Honestly, I really should watch Alien because space is like the scariest thing that exists. The scariest movie I've ever seen is Gravity. I was just like, well, I wouldn't go up there. Absolutely not. I'm like, what are you doing up there? Get down from there.
Yeah.
Me when I see an astronaut, get down from there.
You're gonna hurt yourself. What are you doing up there, pal? Oh my god.
So yeah, maybe that's like... what will get me is if I watch a sci-fi thing.
Oh yeah, you gotta. It's so much fun. And if you're gonna watch one, like watch Alien. It's like one of my favorite ones. Like Predator's not bad either, but like yeah, like those movies aren't bad, but like definitely in terms of just like the Mount Rushmore of like those like you know those older you know horror movies, like Alien is up there for me. Like I love that. But I'll pose the same question to you. Like, you know, you're obviously in like the Halloween spirit. Is there like any like specific movie, like horror movie, like you'll like to watch that gets you like more into Halloween spirit, or do they all just kind of do it for you?
I watch The Ring every year, specifically on VHS. Because you have to. That. Oh my god, it's the best. When you put the VHS into the VHS player, it doesn't have like any trailers or anything to start with. It starts with showing you the entire tape from The Ring, and then it has a phone ringing sound effect.
I did not know that. Oh my gosh.
It's peak. It's so good. Like, watching that when I was a kid, shit myself. So fucking good. Watch The Ring. I really want to rewatch Host. Coraline is also not really a horror movie, but it's the Halloween movie for me. It's perfect.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I like watching. Well, my watch list is also 200 movies, so there's not very many I repeat. Because I like the ones that I'm repeating are ones that I'm just like, well, Eric has to watch it too. So I'm I'm getting deeper into the watch list and always open to more. I'm gonna get to the older ones soon. I'm hoping I'm watching The Exorcist this weekend. And I will update on if it scares me or not. Because
I'm
want
anxiously
it to
waiting
really
to
bad.
How has his reaction been to the horror movies? Like, is he like a scared guy or like?
He used to be. He used to not really want to watch horror movies with me because he would get scared really easily. Which, to be fair, he used to not want to watch horror movies with me because he said he watched The Babadook and that was really scary. And then I started going, bah, bah, as a joke. And he was like, well, this is why I don't watch horror movies with you. So basically we started watching them. And then he realized when he watches horror movies with me, he's like, oh, you don't like sit in silence and take it seriously. You talk and make jokes the entire time. And he's like, so like, I'm fine to watch horror movies with you because they're not scary when I'm watching them with you. And I'm like, yay! Now I get to make you watch them. So basically, in October, we watch them pretty much every night. Sometimes I'm watching my own movie, and then at night, like while he's streaming, I'm watching my own movie, and then at night we watch another one. And then during not Halloween, we watch them every Friday. And whenever it's my pick, it's always a horror movie. So like slowly chipping through the watch list.
I love that. You would make a killing as like a movie reaction person on YouTube. I feel like
I've considered it.
You're already doing the commentary part of it. It doesn't matter just putting you on camera and fair use, and then all that chopping all that stuff up. So
I'll do a tier list of all the movies I watched in October.
I'm excited for it. Have any of the horror movies you watch cracked your top 4 on Letterboxd? What is the Sleepy Kokiri Letterboxd top 4?
My Letterboxd top 4. One of them's The Ring. I'm gonna keep talking about The Ring because I love The Ring. My Letterboxd top 4 is Spirited Away, Eternal Sunshine. Did you lose me?
No. I was gonna say like I love knowing like what my friends' letterboxes are because I've been trying to be a conscious letterbox user this year.
Okay, you have to tell me yours then after.
Okay, I got you.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Spirited Away, Gone Girl, The Ring.
Oh wow, okay, that's a Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. That movie. You
should definitely watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Oh, you're not the first person to tell me that.
I watched it yesterday. It's very long, and I was stressed for the entire movie.
Oh, I love that. I also have a Ghibli
film. I had
film.
like I'm about to meet someone's parents anxiety the entire movie. And it had similar vibes to Eternal Sunshine. It had that like kind of offbeat vibe, but like it was very Charlie Kaufman, and it was described to me as an existential horror, and I don't know if that means like it makes you really stressed out exclusively. I was like, I don't really care about dying right now. I just really want to go home. But it was very good. I like it.
Meeting parents for the first time, anxiety is like, I just felt like a shiver run down my spine. Like I just started sweating. It's like, oh god, like
I was like curled up in a ball, like bicycle pedaling, like, oh, I gotta leave. But I'm on my couch.
I gotta get. I'm already home. That's the problem.
Yeah, but in a good way. I liked it.
So I also have a Ghibli film in my top 4. My four favorite movies of all time, according to Letterboxd, it's Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Howl's Moving Castle, and The Other Guys.
I don't know what that is. I never heard of it.
The Other Guys is it is an Adam McKay comedy film with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. They are New York City police officers, and it is so like unhinged and crazy. Like I love a good comedy movie. I get my joy in life by laughter.
Comedies are the best type of action movie.
Yes, these movies make me laugh. This movie makes me laugh every time I fucking watch it. Like I've seen this movie dozens of times. It still makes me laugh like I watched it the first time. Like
love that.
It's phenomenal. So if you're ever looking for a good laugh, I highly recommend it.
Noted. That's how I am with Superbad. I'm like, I will laugh every single time I watch this movie.
Sorry, the Coen brothers don't direct the type of porn you watch. Like, it's one of my favorite lines from that movie. It's so good.
So good.
Peak. We love to see it. All right, so we talked about what unnerves you. Is there anything that you when you're watching a horror movie that like takes you out of it? Like if there's like if it leans a certain way, or like like me personally, like I'm not a big. I really wanted to go see that new Demi Moore horror flick that just came out.
Absolutely gonna go see it.
But like, I think I'm still gonna go see it. But
You
my
don't
biggest
like
thing is like
gore?
gore kind of creeps me out sometimes.
Mm.
So is there like a hard no for you in like horror movies, or like are you willing to see anything through at least for one time?
I don't. Honestly, it's more just like annoyances of like, I don't like when they show the monster too much. I'm just like, I don't find it effective if I see it all the time. And also when they like establish rules, like this is how this demon functions or something, and then they're just like, never mind. I'm just like, then why'd you establish the rules? Like in the new Evil Dead movie, like Evil Dead Rise, they give like the established rules like that were in the like the Evil Dead movie, and then they're just like, except for the end where that doesn't count, and I'm just like, then what was the point? What was the point of the rules? And it just leaves me with this like frustrated feeling because like there's no point of watching a horror movie if you don't have like something to root for in a way, or at the very least like you're not like holding on hoping something like will succeed, because otherwise you're just like, yay, I love watching torture. But like if it's like, here's the rules, and if you follow the rules then you'll be fine, and it's just like, JK, still died, I'm just like, then what's the point of the rules?
Why lay out these ground rules if you're just not gonna follow them anyway?
Feels cheap, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also like when they show the guy too much, I'm just like, well, he's not scary anymore. He's my friend in my house. He's my roommate.
we play we go bowling sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
It's like this fucking guy again.
No, that's a good point. I actually never really thought about it. Like the movies that like scare me the most like that are like the ones that like they don't show you the guy until like the very end. Gore is like a little uncomfortable for me sometimes. Like I'll watch it. Like for the longest time I couldn't watch the Saw movies because they were just like too gross for me.
Makes sense.
I've since, grown up a little bit more, and like I'm just like, oh yeah, like this really isn't that bad. But like I still kind of have to like talk myself into it sometimes. Like I have to be that scared kid on the 4D ride line, being like, is this gonna scare me? Like, am I gonna be grossed out by this? And then like once I get past that, I'm just like, okay, like I can watch this. But I love Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, so I will be seated and watching probably sometime this weekend in between the 3 movies I want to see.
I also really want to go see it. As soon as I am able to, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, like I saw a trailer for it. I think it was when I went to go see Longlegs, and I'm just like, this looks really good, and I really like Demi Moore, so I'm just like, yeah, like sign me the hell up. Like, I will be there no matter what.
I've heard people say it's disgusting and we're so back, and I'm just like, sold. That's what I want.
the 2 reviews that matter in that scenario.
Because gore doesn't really get to me, because like it's like my practical brain where I'm just like, well, it's fake. Unless it's like a certain type, I'm just like, I can feel that. I can feel that happening, and that's terrible. Mostly I'm like, it's my practical brain. The same way that like a lot of people are like, I don't like animal death in movies. I'm just like, that is so incredibly fair. But in my realism brain, I'm like, that pet got paid in treats and they did such a good job. So I'm like, that is an actor. So I'm like, I can deal with it. Unless it's like Cannibal Holocaust where they're actually hurting the animals. I'm just kind of like, that is a very good little actor. He's doing such a good little job.
He has a good
little man.
He has a good little agent, and he will not walk across the picket line.
Yeah, I'm like, he got paid.
This dog's making more money than I am in a month.
It's like he has protected rights, and he got paid.
His likeness cannot be stolen by AI, thanks to the rules
exactly.
of the
I'm
Actors
just like,
Guild.
I'm so glad he had a little job. What a talented little man. So like, it doesn't affect me that much, but
yeah. No, that's valid. All right, so if you're directing your perfect horror movie, like what is like where is your brain going if you're like, okay, what's the scary situation I can put a group of people in?
That's a very good question. Honestly, I need more. I mean, like this is like a really big trope in like found footage, but I need more horror movies about just like glitches and viruses, because like the actual real life horror of being alive is getting a computer virus. Like that's horrible. Like I have reoccurring like every like 3 times a week I have a nightmare that I got a computer virus and I ruined the family computer. Like dead ass. So like I need more horror movies about that, because I think that would really get me, is like there's a ghost in your computer and it put porn on there. Like I'm like, well shit. I'm actually scared now. is what I need.
That is so relatable as the kid that's put the malware on the family computer. Yeah.
I've hit the power button because there were too many pop-ups more than once, and
yes!
I live with that, and it's scary.
I was like I'm going to turn the computer off, and it might not turn back on.
Exactly. Like, I need someone to encapsulate that feeling of I ruined the family computer and I'm 9, and put that in a horror movie. That's what I need.
Oh my gosh.
So badly.
The amount of anxiety I just felt come over my body when you said that. It was just like, oh no, I accidentally clicked on it. I accidentally tried playing the pop-up game, and now all of a sudden I have malware.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, warning, do not enter this game if you are over the age of 8 or whatever. And then I'm just like, I'm going to click. There's an anime lady. And then I just like, pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, well.
Oh no.
Like, well, I've destroyed the computer and I'm going to have to pay for it. And I've ruined everything. I can't play The Sims. Everything's ruined.
Oh no, I know you're a big Sims person, so
turn off the computer, walk away, not turn it on until someone else has confirmed turned it on. It's not my fault.
Yes, exactly. So
that feeling in a horror movie,
is what I'm trying to think what mine is. Like my personal fear is like, I mean, it's tough because like all of my fears are very like realistic and have been realized in horror movies before. Like I get like slightly claustrophobic sometimes, so like, you know, my biggest fear is like being in like an elevator in the middle of the ocean because I can't swim or something like that. Like,
yuck.
Just like weird stuff like that. But like, I also love like the, I guess it's more like the psychological side of things. Like, I love a good like Big Brother is watching like type thing. You know, I wouldn't exactly qualify it as a horror movie, but like a movie I've seen in the last like few years that I really liked is Don't Worry, Darling. I
haven't seen that, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people. I know like some people pan it for being like kind of like, you know, a little too on the nose and like a little lazy. I really personally enjoyed it because like again, I like that concept of like there's this bigger thing out there that's like very
Truman
like,
Show vibes.
Exactly, yeah. The Truman Show is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's really
this movie's very much in the same vein. Shout out to Florence Pugh, love you. Please come on my podcast. Can't wait to see her new movie this weekend.
What movie?
She is in a A24 drama film with Andrew Garfield.
I've heard that they were doing a sex scene and didn't hear the director yell cut.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know about the movie.
Honestly,
good for them.
Yeah. I love both of them. Florence Pugh is great. Andrew Garfield is my god. I will watch anything he's in. So I will be there seated with popcorn and a blanket, probably. But
love that.
Yeah, that's my vibe. But yeah, like all my like fears are very just like realized, but I also love the creepy, just like, you know, somebody's watching you just don't know who it is yet, and you might not ever find out, and that's okay. So that's what the next movie's about, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Or being stuck in a Hollister.
Yeah, I guess if they made a movie about a house fire where I had a computer virus and I was in space, then like that would be my scariest ever movie.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
The spaceship has a computer virus.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on.
Oh, wait, no, that's fucking 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, it's just 2001.
I mean, if they did less of the other shit and focused more on the, you know, the hell of it all.
Let's go back in time. You can write it.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll
Kubrick, let me in.
Hi, Stanley Kubrick. You don't know who I am. I'm from the future.
Hi, Stan.
Can I call you Stan? Like,
yeah. Consider Hal has porn pop-ups, and you're 9.
I love that. So we talked a bit about, obviously, you know, like movies to get you in the mood for Halloween, and we did mention it up top, but like the era of like the Halloween special has kind of fallen beside us. Is there like do you have any memories of like a Halloween special that you enjoyed watching like growing up or like now as an adult?
I don't know if I did. Do you?
I have a couple.
I feel like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown's like the obvious one. That's like the obvious one. I'll watch that every year. I don't care. I love that guy. Shout out! I love the big resurgence of Snoopy in our pop culture the last like few months. I love that I'm seeing Snoopy and everything now.
He's like the popular guy right now.
Yeah. I was hold on. I gotta look up the. Oh, it's one of my favorites, and I think I mentioned this in a podcast I did like a year or so ago. One of my favorite memories of Halloween growing up in a house with cable is the Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular.
What is that? Is that for Fairly Odd Parents?
No.
Okay.
But the Fairly Odd Parents does have a good Halloween special as well. It is a 2003 Canadian animated Halloween comedy based off of a children's book series.
Cool.
I think you would really like it. It's very like 2003 and campy and silly.
Love
it's
that.
about these girls that go trick or treating, and then she ends up in like a Halloween party with like a bunch of monsters there.
I love that.
It's so silly. It's like I remember have vivid memories of it coming on like every year on like Cartoon Network around Halloween time. And it is one of my absolute favorites. So
okay, noted.
Yeah, put on the list. I love a good. I like the era of like Halloween cartoon specials has fallen beside us. I also like watching Gravity Falls every year.
Oh my god!
Time, so
I love Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls and Over the Garden Wall are like two must watches.
I love Over the Garden Wall.
So good.
It's so good. I actually watched it for the first time like last Halloween, and it was phenomenal.
Perfect.
It's great.
So good.
No notes.
I think I didn't grow up with that many Halloween specials because I grew up watching a lot of anime and they already look kind of fucked up. So, like, they're already in costumes. So, like, what are they going to do? It's just like Yugi Moto looking the way he is with cat ears. Like, I don't really, didn't really overlap.
True story. I dressed up as Yugi for Halloween one year.
I love that. I was Sailor Moon like 3 years in a row.
I love that. That's so sweet. Yeah, my Yugi Moto costume was scuffed because like
was it just like a piece of foam as your hair?
No, so I bought the costume from a store because it was around. I think I was in like the 5th grade, and Yu-Gi-Oh was in like its like peak. So I bought a store-bought Yu-Gi-Oh costume. It came with a mask, which was cool, but I didn't own the dual disc or anything like that. Or I think so like I wasn't able to like pull the full effect off. And me, using that like, high learning autistic part of my brain, I was like, okay, like how can I? It's like, my mom's like, well, what are you gonna bring with you? I'm just like, I don't know, I can bring a lightsaber. So I was just like, yeah. I entered like a costume concert. They're all just like, all right, man, yeah, like whatever you got, like that's cool. Like
you were Padawan Yugi.
Pretty much. I was Darth Yugi. I was like,
that's hilarious.
Sure. And everyone's just like, Yugi doesn't have a lightsaber. I'm just like, okay, well, in my world he does. Like, shut up, loser. Like, what are you gonna do?
That would be much cooler.
I was gonna say he'd be much more threatening if he was able to use the Force. That's all I'm saying.
Kaiba's like, I'm gonna jump off this building. Yugi's like, slice. In that voice, slice.
Yeah, insert the that like one Obi-Wan song that plays all the time when they start fighting. So yeah, that's my
hilarious.
Yeah, I missed. This is the first year in a while where I actually have plans on Halloween, so I actually get to dress up this time, and I'm very.
What
excited.
Are you gonna be?
I haven't decided yet. I still got to figure that out. Because like I want to be something that's like relevant. Because like my worst fear going to Halloween parties when nobody knows what you are. I'm sure as a cosplayer you might have experienced this like maybe like once or twice. I
don't go out and cosplay.
All right, that's valid.
so I can never have that problem.
That's
but yeah, if someone got my costume wrong, I'd probably be like, yes, I am that.
I remember I went up to it was at a con I went to like years ago, and this is back when I was like kind of a baby and like my scope of pop culture was much smaller. So there's a guy dressed up as a doctor from Doctor Who, right? Never seen an episode of Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, that's a sick Phoenix Wright cosplay you got on, bro. And he's like, yeah, thanks. And I'm just like, did I do something wrong? Like. This guy was
That's
so bad.
Hilarious.
This guy hates
I love
me.
that.
Yeah.
He probably still hates you.
Probably. And it's fine because I have a podcast and he doesn't. He has a sonic screwdriver. Have fun, bro. Like,
honestly, if he also probably has a podcast.
You're probably right.
Called Fuck That Guy Who Said I Fucking Was Phoenix Wright at that fucking con.
Sponsored by BetterHelp. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's oh my gosh. But yeah, like I remember I went dressed as a I went to a Halloween party years ago. I went dressed as a Double Dare contestant.
That's sick though.
Yeah, and like I had like the fit and everything. Like I had the helmet and like the knee pads. And somebody's like, I'm like, oh, I'm a contestant on Double Dare. They're like, what's Double Dare? And I'm just like, I wasn't prepared to navigate this conversation tonight. I don't quite know where to go here.
It's American uh-oh. And Canadian, like, uh-oh is just Canadian Double Dare, is my understanding.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, maybe this year I'll go as a Legends of the Hidden Temple contestant, just to like keep with the theme.
So
or something.
True.
Love that show. That's a big one.
Eric and I don't know if we're going to be able to do our costume because currently our house is still fucked. We were going to be the Queen and King of the Cosmos from Katamari.
Oh,
but I literally have like the giant tubes to make the heads. But I don't have like space to paint it. So our backup is he's going to be Paimon from the end of Hereditary, and I'm going to be Danny in Midsummer with the flowers. That's our like last ditch. Like he's going to have like the little crown and like the bandage on his nose. And I'm going to just be covered in flowers. We're just going to be the Ari Aster guys.
I love that. That's so funny. I don't know. I got some time to work out my plans. I gotta figure something out still. I mean, I'm wearing an Emperor's New Groove shirt right now. I could break out my
Cusco
old
again.
I could be my Cusco costume.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
always...
Princess Peach again. That was also a good
could.
One.
I still have it. It's still in there. And it probably fits me better than it will ever fit me nowadays.
Slay.
So we love to see it. But yeah, that's about all I got today. So Kokiri, you're a gem. I always love sitting down and chatting with you. Thank you for joining me on
me.
Anytime. You know, I love that whenever I have like a silly podcast idea, you're so gung ho and you're just like, yeah, I'd love to sit down and just like talk about stuff. So.
Yeah. You always want to talk about stuff I like talking about, so.
Yeah, I will have you back on for that Shrek episode at some point. We're going to make that happen at some point.
I have thoughts.
And there's a new Shrek movie coming out
soon.
So if you know,
we'll do it before that.
Yeah, if the sun doesn't explode between now and next summer, we can make that happen. But
yeah,
let the people know where they can find you. Where are you lurking at on the internet?
I am Sleepy Kokiri on everything. Including Letterboxd if you want an extensive list of horror movies I am going to watch or have watched.
Yes, I will make sure to. I'm definitely following you the second I stop recording this podcast.
Yay.
But yeah, you guys can check me out at Koopa NJ across platforms. I obviously host this show. And if you want to hear me yap about Pokemon cards, I have a Pokemon podcast with one of my buddies. I know that I know that your husband and has previously been diving in as well. So
he's newly Pokemon carded.
Yeah, I love that for him. And I'm very sorry for the space you aren't gonna have.
He's like, it's cheaper than Yu-Gi-Oh because I can do it online. And I'm just like, for now.
For now. I will say it is incredibly affordable as someone who never has money. So
that's good.
But yeah, if you guys want to hear me yap about Pokemon cards, you can check me out on Twitter. All my stuff's over there. But yeah, that's going to be it for us this week. Gamers, have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you at the next episode. Good night, folks.